Do you know, Siobhan, school is supposed to prepare you for the rest of your life.
That's what they say anyway, isn't it? But it doesn't necessarily prepare you for life at all. It doesn't.
It doesn't. It gives you fake all.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
It's supposed to give you the building blocks. So today we're going to have a look at like some of the things that you didn't learn in school, but maybe you should have.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think now they have made a lot of adjustments actually to school and education.
Do you think is this what transition
year
is about? Maybe?
No, I think even from a national school level, I think primary schools now have introduced new curriculums. I do think it's harder on teachers though, because they're expected to do, sex education and, bereavement support and all of this kind of crack as well, on top of actually just teaching the curriculum.
Right.
But I definitely think that stuff is more important than the book stuff.
Okay.
What do you think about?
I never learned how to budget in school. This was kind of a big wake up moment to me.
Yeah.
I'd take all the idea of money, I suppose, because I didn't have money, so it wasn't on my radar. But it's one of those essential skills that when you leave school and you go out into the workforce, that you need. Because I remember, and I've said it to you previously, I remember being in Galway in my my second proper job, and coming home from work into the flat, opening the fridge and there was no food in there, and I go, my mother normally puts, oh right, okay, so I'm not living it. I have to put the food, I have to buy food, I have to decide what food, and I have to plan to have dinner, and wow, okay.
Yeah.
And it sounds funny, but it was a real wake up moment. I'd never done grocery shopping for myself ever, and I was 20.
Yeah, oh my God, isn't it mad? Do you know, but they don't teach you that kind of stuff in school. I mean, basic survival skills, really,
Yeah.
I mean, I did home economics in secondary school. I wouldn't say primary school prepared me for anything because it was just a horrible experience all around, really. I had a horrible teacher. And so moving into secondary school was great for me. It was like, I loved secondary school when I got into first year. And I really adapted to the change very well. But we took on some subjects. I suppose home economics is one I wanted to do because I was always really good at, things to do with cooking, and I could sew and I could do a whole lot of things. But it ended up being such a basic thing. Like they're teaching you how to sew a cushion maybe or something like that. That's really straightforward.
Essential life skills.
Yeah, for a woman, like. Teaching you how to be a good housewife.
A good wife.
A good wife, and how to budget in your home and mind your husband.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Like, can you build a house, Paul?
No, they never taught me that in school.
Don't fucking ask me, can I sew?
You see, back in I suppose ancient cultures and ancient societies, you learned these hands-on skills before there was like school. And a friend of ours was talking to us about homeschooling because she does homeschooling. And homeschooling, I think, is a lot more practical, isn't it?
Yeah. Geez, I wish she was here actually to talk about it because she's so well informed about homeschooling. I think, definitely. As a parent, I suppose it's everybody's right, I suppose, in Ireland anyways, it's your right to kind of decide what way you want your child raised. And that includes education as well. So if you do educate your own child at home, I think there's lots of benefits to that. I mean, you can decide to go horse riding and use that as a means to teach them physics and capacity and, feed.
How to get back on after you fall off.
Yeah, and all that, how to bounce,
I thought that was interesting, that I didn't realise that homeschooling, you didn't need to stick to a curriculum. You didn't have to study Shakespeare's plays or X amount of poems and stuff. That anything can be an educational tool.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes much more sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when you think about it, like if you're teaching a child if you bring your child to the supermarket, you're teaching them economics. You're teaching them, okay, well, look, our budget is €150. That's how much money we have, and we need to stick to that. Yeah. So you're counting what you're putting in. You say, do we really need that, or do we need this? What's more nutritious for the body? So they're getting nutritional value of foods as well, and like combinations that are good together and all of that kind of thing.
I remember when I was about I was 13 and I'd taken a part-time job doing the old switchboard, the telephonist thing, switchboard, and I was getting £2 a week.
Wow.
But I was into cross-country running.
That's a lot.
It was a lot of money back then. And I was into cross-country running, and one of the things I needed for that was spikes. I used to run on my bare feet in mucky fields, and it was fine, but you'd be slipping and sliding where some of the more sophisticated athletes had these spikes and boom. Anyway, so I got on my mother and said, I need to get some spikes. But what she made me do was she made me get a credit union loan to pay for the spikes. The spikes were £9.
Jesus.
And I remember shopping for them and she's picking up golf shoes. I think I sat there and I said, no, they're too big, heavy, leathery things, and get stuck in the muck in that. So I bought these pair of shoes, running shoes, for €9,
Right.
and I paid back so much a week, and that was my first introduction to economics as such. The kind of you borrow and you pay back with interest, and it gave you some appreciation of money.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know what happened to me with money, because I remember my mother would always say to us, you should always save a bit of money.
Yeah.
Put a bit aside, for a rainy day or this kind of thing.
If you're struggling.
Yeah, I don't know. I was good at when I started out first, but I was only 14 when I started earning money, so I didn't really have any sense,
Yeah.
And I think the first thing I bought was new clothes. I just went mad and bought clothes.
Yeah.
It's like, jeez, this is great.
But did you do that every week?
No.
You did that in week 1, week 2. What would you do?
Yeah, I don't know what I was. I think I went out then and I bought a. Yeah, I was smoking and drinking, of course, as well.
Yeah.
So that put a nice dent in it. I bought a coffee table for my parents and everything, and bought them stuff and gave them money as well. Initially.
Here's the thing. Did school teach you to question authority, or did they do the exact opposite?
Now, this is a really good debate, because absolutely not. That, and I know that was the same for you. There's no way you spoke up.
Oh yeah, you have to learn to respect authority.
Yeah, and it's still the same in most schools now. You don't talk back to the teacher. But if you have a different opinion, no matter what age you are, it's always been okay in my home for the children to talk back to us. So I wouldn't even call it talking back. I'd call it,
but isn't there kind of a limit to that? You don't
discussion.
talk back. You get a slap if you talk back to your mother.
Yeah, you get the back of the hand.
Yeah, even if you thought you had a reasonable point to make, it was kind of talk back.
Yeah, don't give me cheek.
Yeah. I'll cheek you.
Give me cheek.
I'll cheek you.
And that usually came out when you were defeated.
You see, in school you had to defer to the teacher, and in fairness, the teacher had to have authority, had to be in charge of the class.
Yeah.
And you didn't do whatever you just felt like doing or say. So you learned that, and then you learned it in relation to the clergy as well. You never questioned the priest.
Yeah.
Whatever the priest said was gospel, regardless of how crazy it was.
Yeah, I know, ridiculous.
And then you see what happens is you go into a job and you learn not to question your boss. Interestingly enough, I think it was, you have to put your hand up in class to ask a question. I remember being in a martial arts class as a teenager, putting my hand up, and the sensei goes, "You're not in school now, Paul." I go, how else do I ask a question? I'm not realising. And even I found myself at a parent-teacher meeting many years later, still trying to go, get the hand down, don't stick here, just say what you want to say.
Oh my God, yes. Having to ask permission, actually, to go to the toilet, or permission to ask a question, or... Yeah.
And the authority some teachers could hold over you and not let you go to the toilet.
Yeah, I know.
Whether they did it out of malice or kind of just thought you were taking the piss.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
That you were trying to skive off.
Now, in fairness, many students do try to skive off. I would have been falling asleep in classes sometimes, and I'd just, oh my God, I need to get out of here, and I wouldn't need to go to the loo, but you would be let go most of the time,
Yeah.
So I understand why you have to ask for permission as well to go out. But if you have a child with a diagnosis of autism, they don't understand that. They're like, I need to go to the toilet. Why should I have to ask somebody if I can go? They just want to get up and go to the toilet, and that's it.
Yeah, or ADHD.
Yeah, it's not. So, and, then, of course, there are plenty of children that are, ADHD, or even not, just they're energetic children. And they have to get up. They can't sit in the bloody chair. Historically, Paul, we were really conditioned for the industrial age. To work in factories, be able to sit in the same place and work at our desk.
Do as you're told.
That's
until
it.
you got permission to go on a break.
To leave, yeah, or to whatever, So
how was your confidence affected through the schooling system? Did you learn to be confident, or did it go the other way?
But definitely not in primary school anyway, because I was, definitely demeaned a lot by the teacher and by the other students for my academics in national schools. Then when I got to secondary school, I was considered a good-looking girl, and so my confidence really rose because there was loads of boys that wanted to be my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And that really became a big part of my identity then. So
You were the good-looking one.
I
That
was a
your role.
good-looking girl, yeah. And then that was, nearly the most important thing to me then. That's what helped my confidence in school, was
Yeah.
being fancied and having options, I suppose, in that regard. And my first year in school, I did well enough academically as well. Like I was average,
Yeah.
and that was something I never experienced before in national school, because I was always told I was stupid.
Yeah.
And I'd never amount to
And of
anything
course,
but
if
a
you told
chambermaid.
if you're stupid, but you told you were stupid by an authority figure, you believe it.
You believed it, and I
you're conditioned.
absolutely believed that for years,
In St Mel's, where I went to secondary school, it was a great school, but sports was very much
Yeah.
a kind of a thing that would give you a leg up. If you were good at Gaelic football,
Yeah.
you were respected
Yeah.
by the teachers. You could be a total dunce in class,
Yeah.
but you were good for the
Yeah.
thing, because football was what the school was known for, apart from its
Yeah.
academic
Strong
thing.
football team.
That whole history. So if you're really, really good at football, and if you were good academically and good at football, you had it made.
Yeah. You were the most popular guy in the...
I wasn't. I was no good at
I'd
football.
say.
I was very fit, and when I did play football, I could run forever. So you just put me in midfield because I could run all over the pitch. And if I kicked the ball, it was unlikely to kick it out over the sideline. I wasn't particularly accurate at kicking the football either.
It could go anywhere.
I was kind of reliable workhorse thing. But a lot of the sports that I did were solitary, like running.
Yeah.
Long distance running and stuff was solitary.
Yeah.
Which you got no regard from anybody else.
There was
then.
no recognition for that.
No, unless you knew somebody who also was a solitary runner. Now, one of the teachers, two of the teachers actually, used to do marathons. I remember meeting one of them, my science teacher, Mr. Maloney, in a Longford marathon. It was a half marathon, and it was strange to have this connection with him as two athletes who were running in the same race, whereas previous to that, he's my teacher in school.
Yeah.
Thing, and then I found it awkward.
So what was your confidence like in school then? I mean, do you think it would have been better in or out?
My confidence was based on anger. I was an angry young man.
Okay.
And I think I hated authority because my father was a very authoritarian figure. So I used to do the talk back thing. And
Get in trouble for it?
yeah, I didn't necessarily talk back to teachers. I was respectful of teachers. But I knew how to fight. I was fairly fit, fairly active. I grew up in a family of boys where you had to hold your ground. So I never let anybody kind of push me around. So in ways like that, I was confident. I think looking back, I was good looking, but I never realised it.
Yeah.
Never realised it. And even my sister would joke sometimes that she used to get recognised as, oh, you're Paul Gill's sister. And she said, I didn't have an identity in my own right. I was Paul Gill's sister. And she said that was fine, that was all well and good.
Yeah.
Until she said we started doing these YouTube things, and some of my friends and colleagues and work just kind of go, oh, you're Paul Gill, yeah, yeah. And again, she said, my identity now again is sister of Paul Gill.
Feck's sake. You're a nuisance to your
I'm
sister.
bloody nuisance. So listen, let us know what your experience of school.
Yeah.
What were the things that you didn't learn in school that you should have learned in school that would have been a benefit to you in later life?
Yeah, there should have been a lot, really.
Should have been a lot. We are the Happy Headers. Like us, subscribe to us, and we'll talk to you soon.